All right, let's do this because no one else seems to want to. Let's talk about this Ballislife East versus West game last night. My name is Chris Grace. I am not a basketball player. I've watched basketball my whole life. I have played basketball at a very low level. Uh, Elementary school inter like private league, little dribblers in Houston, Texas. Out of 12 players, I think I was the 11th highest scoring player on the team that year. I believe one season I made one shot. So I have the credentials to talk about this. But hey, I have two eyes and I have an analytical mind. And I like to collect data. And I love Ballislife. I live in Los Angeles. I'm a fan of the West Coast squad. I like the players on the West Coast squad more than the players on the East Coast squad. So that is just to let you know about my bias coming into this game. I watched the game last night live on my computer. I paid $9.99 for my monthly subscription. Who knows what else this subscription is going to give me? But I saw the game last night, and I want to go talk about it somewhere. I want to go to a subreddit. I want to go to Twitter. I want to go to I'll go to your Discord if you want me to. But there's no conversation to really be had except for the toxic conversation underneath the YouTube comments, under the today's summary post that Ballislife put up. I did watch it live. I paid for it and everything. And I have watched the entire uncut version of the game. And I believe I have done some work for you that really I don't see anyone else doing out there. So at least I have this value to add to your life, which will be in the description, and I'll just discuss that in a little bit. But look, let's talk about the game. I want to talk about some of the takeaways from the game. I want to talk about some of my favorite plays from the game. And I want to talk about whose stock went up and went down based on this game. So, again, my bias is I was rooting for West Coast. You can look at my Twitter feed, twitter.com/ChrisGrace. I called it for the West before the game, and let's be honest, before this game most YouTube comments were supporting the East side, and I want to say this. I think it's funny that most of the comments you would see were that the East Coast was going to dominate, and that you can't say that the East Coast is going to dominate and then after the fact say that it's unfair for the West Coast to have certain players, specifically Frank Nitti, on their team. Like, either they're stacked before and you predicted that he was going to carry them, right? Or you thought East Coast was far superior and they weren't, and you were wrong. I was right. I didn't think they were going to win in 3 games, but I think we could all agree that if you looked at the videos leading up to it, and it did seem more like a boxing match in terms of them trying to hype up both sides of this game, that specifically the practice video from 2 days ago where they showed the East Coast side practicing and the West Coast side practicing, it was the West Coast side was actually talking about what they were going to do on the court, and it seemed like the East Coast guy was just like playing full court dunk practice or something. Leading into the game, you're still kind of well, I mean, they're pretty dynamic. Specifically, Slim Reaper on the East Coast is a exciting, high-flying player. He should be able to carry the day, right? So, I guess you know what happened. The West Coast dominated the entire series of games. There was no 5-game series. It was over in 3. And why? I don't know. It's funny to me because Frank Nitti, who I've come out of this whole thing liking Frank Nitti. For me personally, my esteem of Frank Nitti is higher than it was before, and I liked him before, but he seems like a really cool guy and a good guy to be on a team with. He's a guy who's who wants you to succeed, but also will be honest with you about how he thinks you should play. But I do think it's kind of funny that. I think 2 or 3 videos ago there was him and Ty from the West Coast. He's kind of trying to get Ty to play the way he wanted him to play, right? And basically the summary of the play was hey, try to pass to other people. And because a lot of things we like to say, they like to say, him and Hezigod and stuff. They like to say it's basketball, that's basketball. And to me, it's so funny to I mean, I don't think I can do this stuff on the court, but I can play an NBA 2K game and know when someone's open and hit the pass button to someone else. It's like not the most sophisticated strategy, but the West certainly did it more than the East in this game. The West played way more with a team-oriented offense than the East did. Yeah, let's be honest. The offense in this game was it was very okay. I guess it was interesting to see these Ballislife teams play without editing. Because you just see their like park takeover games and stuff where they just take over and they destroy the local teams and blah blah, blah, they trash talk and all that stuff. And man, they throw up a lot of bad shots. Let's cut to the chase. So here's what I think I will have added to your life that maybe someone else would do it, but I did it as well. I made this. This is the box score for all 3 games and a total summary for all the games together. Actually, if you like look at the numbers for this game for the all 3 put together, it's like sort of like what of let's see how many points. Well, I mean, it would sort of be for like half of a real basketball game or NBA basketball, or so maybe no, not even that. It'd be like actually these days this would be like 1/4 of NBA basketball, 45 points in 1/4. Very very doable in today's NBA. But I will put the link to this box score in the description. Feel free to go look at it. If you want, make your own copy. I guess. I don't even know how to do that. Maybe you can. So on this point that I'm talking about, that the West played team-oriented offense more than the East. I just want to highlight this. This is the total for all 3 games, right? The West Coast had 17 assists. The East Coast had 3 assists. Now, I'm not a professional box score keeper. I guarantee I made some mistakes. I already caught mistakes that I made where like I didn't count someone's rebound or whatever, right? Although, I think making a box score is harder than keeping score in a basketball game, and that was not done well in this event. But I was trying to be generous with like what assists are. You know how like in the league you watch and there's just like a guy throws it and then 20 seconds later the guy's been dribbling and stuff and he shoots it and makes it and they're like, that's an assist. I was trying to like apply those concepts to this, and the East Coast had 3 assists in 3 full games. So I don't think that's good. That seems bad. But also just look at some of these other numbers. Like the East Coast for all 3 games shot 34% from the field. They shot 11% from 3 or from 2. Or I did modify my box score to say 2-point assist attempts and 2-point percentage, because this is regular basket counts as 1 and a 3-point shot counts as 2. So anyway, feel free to look at this box score and it's full of just wonderful revelations about. I mean, I had to add this airball column, which I would say you don't normally find in an NBA box score. But there were a lot of airballs in these games, and I'm calling an airball anything that didn't hit the rim. And you know what I mean, right? Like sometimes there's an airball from the side that is so bad that it still catches the edge of the backboard or something, but like that's a bad shot. I just want to say that, all these guys are great athletes, great players. And again, they're all better at basketball than I am. But also, when we're starting to frame things as like this is like a boxing match, this is like kind of getting some kayfabe elements of like pro wrestling, like we're sending messages from one side to the other. There's a lot of trash talk, and frankly, one team backed up their trash talk and one team did not. Okay, so let's talk about takeaways. The big takeaways from this game, public reaction to this game. 1, people were mad. They thought the event kind of blew, which I didn't think so. I thought it was fun, but I was rooting for my team won. So, of course, I'm going to enjoy it. I think a lot of people were rooting for the East Coast and didn't enjoy it because they got spanked. 2, people think that the West Coast fouled a lot and that the refs were on their side. I have no idea. I just think it's so we'll look at some of the plays in just a little bit. The plays that I thought were the best plays in the game or the most interesting or whatever. But here's the thing. Like, I think they're in a weird space because like these are pickup games, right? But then they're also playing for $10,000, and I mean, which is honestly seems low for the amount of like they charged for this event, and they're going to get some views. They charge to people to view them online, but also charged you to get into the park to watch it. Like there's 6 players on the team, and they won $10,000, so they each win $1,800 or something like that. Is that right? 17? 6, yeah, about $1,700. So when you are playing for not just being entertaining, like they're going to play, and they have refs there, right? So the refs are there to set the boundaries as to what's legal or not. So it doesn't surprise me that the West Coast kind of pushed how physical they could be in this game, and it started right from the top. And you can think that Bionic is an asshole for the way that he played, but in my opinion, like, he did his job, and I think that if one thing is that I think the West Coast players had more of a sense of like what they were there to do, what they were each there to do. I don't know, and it's funny because I don't think they've played together as much as the East Coast has, but like the East Coast just doesn't seem to have as much of an identity in terms of, or maybe they don't have someone to match up to what Bionic was trying to do, which is he's being basically like the Charles Oakley of the team, right? And the thing is like, I mean, we can complain about this like in the NBA, right? But it works. Like what happens is one team is more, coaches are constantly saying that whoever's more physical than the other team wins, because on there's a whole like meta things that happen, right? So maybe one team gets beat up or they get intimidated or whatever, but besides all that, they are setting like a limit of like, this is how physical we're going to be. And so they're kind of setting a spectrum as to where the foul calls are going to be, right? Because once they start being like, we're going to be this physical, the refs can't call. They're just, I don't know. I think human nature in a ref, they're just not going to call every single time contact happens at whatever level, right? So that means that there's a certain limit where these fouls are getting called, right? And then there's a whole bunch of physicality that's not getting called. And in this game, it seems like it benefited the West, but they kind of set the table as to how physical the game was going to be. In one of the Ballislife clips, Bionic even said so, right? He said, I'm setting the tone. And so, I don't know, like, you may hate him, but I bet everybody on the West Coast fucking loved what Bionic did in this game. So, instead of being prepared and having clips at the ready, I just made little YouTube links for myself. So this is how we're going to do this. So this is at the very beginning of game 1. This is how you full screen something. Okay. Zach gets the ball. And I believe, it's funny, leading into this, Zach was saying, like, he's going to be physical. They said in the East Coast video, they said, who is Bionic going to post up? Who does he think he can bully in the lane? Well, we're about to find out. So here's Zach with the ball. Bionic's on him. This is like the very first possession of the game, I think.
Nice ball over Zach. Oh, check by Bionic. Oh, that's decent right there. Oh, yeah. That's what I want to see.
So he's smiling, but like he got like triggered for the rest of the game practically. Like Bionic got into their heads about the physicality like from the very first possession, and they thought it was fun, but like it didn't turn out that great. Like I don't think it worked. Like I don't think their reaction to this physicality helped them. So, and this is what I was saying. Let's watch this again. There's nothing wrong with this play right now from Bionic's point of view, right? He's pressuring him on the defense. He swipes at the ball, and then he's going to get a solid swipe on the ball. What is that, actually? Can you do this legally? Wait, let's see. Can I dribble the ball? Have it... Yeah, I guess so. That's a weird way to do it, but anyway. So Bionic gets his right hand in here and swipes the ball away. Look at this. That's clean. I mean, well, that part's not, I guess. Weird thing is Zach's already smiling. What is he smiling about at this point? And then this is kind of like, look, Bionic's holding onto his jersey. Zach's pushing off to get him away. It's whatever.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's what we want to see.
Weird headbutt.
Yeah.
The whole interaction's weird, isn't it? Like, I feel weird about it. Like, he slammed the ball to the ground, maniacally smiling, headbutt. I don't know. Well, we'll talk about it later, but I don't think this helped in general. The East Coast. I guess I don't have the other one. Oh, yeah, I do. Here we go. So then let's just get this out of the way now, because I'm talking about how the people think that the West Coast was too physical. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Fuck me. Here we go.
Over to Bionic. Bionic.
So Bionic, remember where they're like, who's he going to post up?
Bionic with the 1-2. He said, you got the shot.
This is called a charge, and good play by Zach, essentially, because he took a charge, but this is the play later that Zach between games 1 and 2 was complaining was not a basketball play.
Over to Bionic. Bionic and Zach. Bionic with the 1-2. He said, you got the.
I guess he dips his shoulder, but like you've seen people go into post contact like this before. I guess it's rough. I mean, he got the foul called him, so it's a foul call, right? But like also, this is not a basketball play either, by the way. That ain't a basketball play either. Taking his jersey and wrenching him down with you. So charge called on Bionic, and then Zach complained about this later. All right. What are some of the other takeaways from the game? Okay. I don't know if I want to talk about that yet. But basically, people complained that there was too much ISO. Frank Nitti even said that, like, they had got them into this trap of, like, just basically ISO ball, and that they were falling into a trap that the guy on the mic kept saying, like, oh, if this guy scores on you, got to get your get back. You got to come back against this guy. So that they fell into that trap as well. And then people okay, so the other main takeaway is that everybody hates Duke. Like, during this game, okay, this is taking place on the West Coast. So it's basically home court advantage for the West Coast, right? But like Duke played so poorly that they were just going Dookie, Dookie. Somewhere in here, I don't remember. And he did not play well. Okay. Since we're here, let's look at some of the other plays. I would say this is the play that everybody will talk about. It's probably, I guess, the play of the game. Sure.
West Coast 2, West Coast 6. Damn God, check by Iverson. Nothing easy. Let's see the handle. Damn God with the layup drill.
By the way, shout out to Chinese Baller Vision, because it seems like they actually sent someone to the game to like get their own footage. Impressive. By the way, I tried to get a ticket to this game and it was sold out. One thing I will say about the West Coast being more physical and fouling a lot. If you get a chance to watch this game, you should see how much Austin Mills. Wait, is that his name? Fuck. I know in the lead up to it, I know he goes by. I think of it as Austin or A. Millie, and I know that in the lead up to him, White Iverson didn't get his name right, and now I don't remember what his actual name is. But he fouls Iverson constantly during this when they have every time White Iverson gets past him, he just hugs him. Remember in the finals, Devin Booker kept doing that to Bucks, and like it wouldn't get called him, where his outside arm was like wrapped around him. He does that to White Iverson throughout this game. He gets away with a lot. There's fouls that don't get called all over the place. Okay, so let's see. This is a good play. This is a good play. Okay, this is an example of just in general. This is actually what I would say is one of the best plays in the game. Because for me, this exemplifies why the West Coast won. I don't know if this is a set play, if they've done this before, but it looks either coordinated or smart. So Caesar, who I called on my Twitter coming into this, I don't know why people sleep on how good he is, but he is great. Like he is. I love the way he plays. So East Coast has gotten a little closer at this point. I think this is game 3. They've made a little run. They're getting back into it. It's a close game, 7-5, and this is what they run. So, I feel like Frank Nitti is already sort of coordinating that this play's coming right now when he passes the ball to Caesar. And let's just look at Frank Nitti's face here. They're overplaying, and then he just goes. He pushes off a little bit, and he's just gone. Pass is perfectly where it needs to be, and there. I know that seems like a very basic, not amazing play, but in the context of all 3 games of this event, that was Phil Jackson triangle offense equivalent. We're talking about plays of the game, I guess.
No good. Oh, rebound. Yo, what are you doing?
This was a very fun play, and also happened pretty early in game 1, and kind of meant that Clamp God was never really going to go at Frank.
Oh yeah, you're locked up out here. You're locked up.
Iverson loses the ball. Frank picks it up.
Clamp God. Clear out. I said clear out. Clear out. There it is. Uh-oh. He said no fouling. No fouling. Clamp God. Oh, come here.
I really admire people's ability to smile while they're playing a game. I think this is a great play for both these guys. I think that Clamp God showed himself to be very capable in all 3 games. I can't believe that you can dribble the ball like this, so close to someone, that this guy can have his arms up in you constantly, and you're just so... I don't understand. By the way, there's Clamp God holding his shirt as well. I mean, look at this. Look at where his face is. His face is up in his... and he couldn't get to the ball. By the way, I feel like a lot of this would be a foul. And then he's gone. And then he's smiling. Look at that. He knew it. He knew it. Hey. I love that. He laid it up just like. Let's watch that again. But kudos to Clamp God for playing hard. Yeah. I think overall Iverson got the better of A. Millie, Austin Mills, in this game. In general, and plus based on some of the numbers. But here's a great play that, White Iverson took a lot of shots, but he had plays like this. Kind of threw out. Oh, so Duke, as I mentioned before, had a terrible 3 games. And then in terms of all this physicality, I think it got to him. He got desperate. Why is he... So he's about to bully White Iverson on a pick for no reason. Except frustration. Except for frustration. Why? What's the point? That's just frustration. And then Bionic came. Austin Mills came over to help help Duke, and then Bionic came to help White Iverson, and then Zach came to challenge Bionic. Hey, everyone's mad. Oh, so I think this is let's talk about people's stock going up and down. Okay, we'll get to it in a little bit, but Duke's stock went way down. Obviously, Duke's stock fell out of all the players. He missed almost. I think he might have missed all of his jump shots. He missed so many shots. He had 8 air balls in this game, in this event. Duke's stock fell the most. Let's on the east side. I think most everybody's stock was basically the same coming in. I think Zach's stock fell for me. I think he got out of his game right off the top of the bat and never really got into it. He didn't really make a ton of impact on the game. I think A Millie's stock for me is like pretty good. Like he had a high work rate. Like he was really involved with this game. I think he lost the duel between him and White Iverson, but I also feel like the East Coast kind of put like a lot of pressure on him to just be like, you're the one constantly taking the ball up. You're the one constantly initiating the offense. Whereas the West Coast has Frank Nitti, has Caesar, has White Iverson. Even Ty was initiating his own offense, and even Kenny Dobbs is initiating offense. Whereas a lot of the offense on the East Coast seemed to be just starting from like Austin at the top of the key against White Iverson. Let's see what we can make out of it. And I think Slim's stock is the same or higher. You gotta go. I think now you have this feeling like he's sort of carrying this team. And I think if they will do another one of these, right? Because I bet financially it was a success. If I was being a really cold, cynical Ballislife CEO, I think I would try to upgrade this East Coast team a little bit. I think they need somebody else. Maybe they'll reach out to Devontae Friga. Maybe. I don't know. Let's get all the YouTube teams playing each other. Let's get Savage Squad in there. I mean, right now, I think Savage Squad versus East Coast would be a closer match. Duke versus Carlos. Okay, so West Coast. I mean, I already like Caesar. I think his stock was up just because more people got to see him play, but I think he's great. Frank Nitty's stock went up. I guess people were mad at Bionic because he was physical, so maybe his went down a little bit. Kenny Dobbs went up because he only played like 7 minutes and like made a huge impact. He won the game. He made the last 2 3-pointers to like win the whole series. I think White Iverson's stock went up because he played with a high impact on the game. Whether you like him or not, he was active. He got clamped a couple times, but he made a huge impact. And also, just spoiler alert, he scored more points than anybody in the entire event. And his true shooting percentage was extremely high, which I'll explain in a minute once we get to the box scores. And then I will say that Ty's stock went way up for me because he talked a lot of stuff going into it, and everybody thought he was going to get stopped by Slim. And this play I just want to highlight was a very important play along those lines. Because basically Ty was like, I'm taller than Slim. I'm going to block his shot, and he's not going to be able to stop me. So here's what happened. This is Slim about to take a 3-pointer or 2-pointer.
94-3, Slim. Oh, pull back. Oh.
He blocked that shot.
Hit it with the rebound. He got numbers if he go. Gets left the tie. Crossover, step back.
Scores there, so it's a turnaround, right? And leading into this event, the trash talk was Ty's not going to be able to take Slim one-on-one. Slim is going to be able to easily defend him one-on-one. I think this is the very next play. Let's see.
Push off to Kenny. Long 3. No good. That guy with the rebound. He's going to put that back. Long 1. No good.
Long 1. So this is Ty one-on-one against Slim. And I guess Ty is stronger than I thought he was. Stronger than it looks.
Ankle check.
It wasn't that play. There was another play earlier where he, like, I was like, oh, he has some strength in the post. But anyway, he was able to take him one-on-one. So for me, Ty's stock went up. Okay, let's look at this box score and give you some final thoughts. As I said, the East had 3 assists in 3 games. It's, again, I think that's suboptimal. For all 3 games, White Iverson was the high scorer. He scored 14 points. Ty scored 11. Slim also scored 11. But this is where you're going to get the idea that Slim is carrying this East Coast squad. Because look at the rest of this team. That's the points they scored in 3 games. I think Landon deserved more run. Why not, man? To me, there's some ego involved in the fact that he didn't get on the court after game 1, and Duke went 3 for 18 with 8 air balls. Suboptimal. Clamp God, game 1 he showed out, actually. Game 1 he had 5 offensive rebounds, which was pivotal to even them staying anywhere near the score. And then I just want to point out this. So White Iverson was the high scorer, right? He went 9 for 21, 5 for 14 from 2. Here's the thing. He shot 35% from 2. So in the NBA, you know, 3-point shots are worth 33% more. No, they're worth 50% more than a 2-point shot. 50% of 2 is 1. 3-point shot is worth 1 more point, right? So they're worth 50% more. So that means if you hit like 35% of your 3-pointers, you know, it turns into like 50% of your 2-point. In other words, like, you could miss more 3-pointers because they're worth more, right? That's not true in pickup basketball like this. These 2-point shots are worth 100% more points. They're twice as much. The gap between a regular shot and a 2-point shot is bigger, right? Which means that, I mean, if you cared only about winning as opposed to being entertaining, because that would probably be really boring, but like, you should just shoot as many 2-pointers as you can if you shoot a decent clip. And 35.7 is a decent clip when it's worth twice as much, because White Iverson took 21 shots in 3 games. He scored 14 points. That is as if he went, shooting only single pointers, as if he went 14 for 21. Let me just see what that would be. So that's basically, his true shooting percentage was 66.7%. I bet that's higher than anyone else in this whole game. Maybe, what does Slim have? Somebody 20. Yeah, that's higher than anyone. So, well, please let me undo that. Hey, there we go. I hope you understand what I'm saying. He got 5 extra points off those 2-pointers that he shot. So, like, White Iverson, I guess here's the thing is, I don't think I will stand for any White Iverson slander in these comments, because he had the biggest impact on these games from the points standpoint. Shout out to Frank Nitti for having 13 rebounds, and for having 8 assists. Caesar with 4 blocks. 4 steals, I should say. Turnovers, Iverson and Austin had the most, but they were handling the ball the most. Oh no, wait, 4 there. Here's the thing I would say about the East. I would keep Slim and Clamp, because the thing I like about Clamp God is that, first of all, I thought he was pretty active on offense, and he seemed to just care. He had the effort level, right? And Slim is extremely talented. He was probably the most talented player on both of these rosters, so I'd keep him. I would honestly just look at the rest. I'm not saying who to cut and who not to cut, but I think these guys are not uncuttable. You know what I mean? Oh, finally, I just want to say this. This is my last thought. It doesn't matter if you lost 0-3, right? One thing that is also disappointing about this game is that the East Coast had no swagger to their game. We're in this weird space between, like, this is sports, but it's also entertainment. You know what I mean? It's between, like, it's competition, but there is an element of wrestling to this, right? There's a theater to this. And if you're not going to just put your head down and focus on winning the game, which, I mean, if you look at their practice, I don't think they did, then there should be some entertainment element to this as well. I think Slim Reaper, by just the way he plays, he has a swagger about him. He seems to be a pretty humble, quiet guy, and so maybe he isn't the one that should be talking a lot after making a shot or whatever, but he kind of doesn't need to because of how crazy his dunks are and stuff, you know? But the rest of the East Coast squad, like, there's a lot of, like, looking at the rep. Like, I'm sorry, I don't pay $9.99 a month for a Ballislife street ball YouTuber basketball experience to have them turning to the refs and being like, how come you didn't call that? Like, that's just not what this is. That is just so, like, we need to be, like, media coached in terms of, like, what product are we trying to put out there? You know, I mean, I hate it in the NBA too, right? But, like, on a fun entertainment basketball YouTube channel, like, there's people just being like, no. And I think you need to have swagger even if you're losing. Like, it can't be... It doesn't feel as fun to me. Like, this is what I'll say about Duke, right? I think Duke obviously will come out of this whole thing as the biggest loser. I mean, people are going to hate on him forever. But also, his body language was horrible. And I'm not one to... I mean, I am one to do this, but not to do it with any credibility. You know, I'm constantly analyzing NBA players and being like, I think this is what's happening in their head. I don't think... Who the fuck knows? I have no idea. But it doesn't matter in this case because, like, yeah, we care about who wins or whatever, but also this is entertainment, right? Your body language is so bad that you don't seem to be having any fun on the court. I don't know who on the East Coast had fun playing this game. It looked like a chore to all of them, except maybe Slim, except maybe Clamp God, because he just enjoyed... Like, he probably enjoyed that play where he got beat by Frank Nitti, because it's a good, fun defensive challenge. But, like, Duke looked miserable. And I don't think... I'm just saying, like... It's almost to the point that I think maybe he was injured or something, and, like, they didn't reveal it or something. Like, he just seemed... The whole thing seemed like a drag to him. And so... personally, I don't think that's what I... if I want to watch, you know, a team be, like, down in the dumps... I mean, I live in Los Angeles. I can watch the Clippers. Anyway. So that's the Ballislife. Listen, the description of this... this video is going to have the link to the box score. Have at it. Do all your analysis of what you want. You know... I'm sure I made some mistakes, but enjoy. And who the hell knows if I'll ever make another one of these again. But I hope you enjoyed it because I just wanted to hear someone talk about this game. And nobody seems to want to. Goodbye.